abrupt stop to the music as we come on in live, and hopefully I haven't broken things. I did. 1 sec. There we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Oh no, wait, why is that using that? Oh, I think I broke things again. Alright, well, Zombie Grub, you want to explain what's going on while I try and fix this?
Sure. So, welcome everybody to the Olimoleague finals for January. We do have the top 8 players from the Olimoleagues played this month, dueling it out for the top prize. So, top 8 are Alive, Super, ByuN, Billowy, Innovation Classic, ByuN, herO. Nice mix, mixing a couple of Zergs, I suppose. But we are looking to get into a ByuN versus herO, I think. But I don't actually see them online. So next up would be Innovation versus Classic, and then so on and so forth. I don't think there's really a bad matchup, and we'd be too upset. But yeah, that's our plan today. And welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome. This is a bug I've not seen before. So I started using the tip jar for funsies, right?
Yeah.
But I believe it's currently using my tip jar for some reason from my channel. I don't know why. Because the URL, like, so if I swap to this scene, whoa, no! Hold on, Cactus Valley. Where is it? This is the one I was using for H1Z1. Yeah, it's using my bit jar for some reason. I wonder, do I have to delete that? Let's remove that entirely. And now maybe it won't try and write that one in?
This is Super for Survive.
No, it's still using the... Okay, so I don't know how this works because I'm not using the same URL as my personal channel. But it's still taking data from that. This is the problem with trying to run 2 different Twitch channels, guys. Having all this stuff happen. Let's remove that entirely and see what happens if I add something new. No, it's still using my other one. I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna axe that for now, and I'll play with the tip jar later. That's a little bit disappointing, but oh well. Anyways, yeah, Zombie Grub said herO and ByuN would be preferable for a match. Innovation Classic as well. I see. Actually, yeah, where is herO and ByuN? I haven't seen them online.
herO is online. And
ByuN's
in
missing.
a game. Yeah, I don't know where ByuN is. Innovation's online and in a game.
Which lobby's Cranky? I'm just gonna join off him. See what's
Alive
going
or Super, I think.
on. Oh. I mean, I don't mind waiting. No, it's Innovation's game if you want to join off me.
Okay.
I don't mind waiting if we have to either, but we have 2 really good TvP options. Hi. There's no Classic.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Craig, we may just miss the round of 8 entirely at this rate, which is unfortunate. Although
Well, Alive versus Super is actually like available. And they're both there in the lobby.
Well, to be honest, I think I'd rather catch ByuN. If we only have one Zorg in the entire tournament, we might as well watch him, right?
That I am not sure has Billowy available.
Oh. Why is nobody available today? What's going on?
Technically it is only just turned to 5 a.m.
Yeah, I know. To explain really quick why I'm a bit amiss, the Olimoleague monthly prize money is the largest pot out there. It's $700. So it's a little surprising, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. Not for a very long time that people didn't bother showing up for the finals.
Oh, by the way, I know that we had done a bunch of scheduling shenanigans.
Yeah.
We may have to move BTSL for reasons I didn't consider. Because for us, we were really concerned about it possibly conflicting with IEM, right? But if any of the players are playing in Shoutcraft and then the IEM qualifiers, they're just not going to have the stamina to be awake for the BTSL Grand Finals. Was a point ByuN just made to me as I was messaging him about it. So we should probably talk about that after the cast and get it sorted. Because availability and time sucks.
I guess that makes some sense. I mean, it's almost a entire day between BTSL and the Korean qualifier.
No, it's not. It's like several hours.
We start at 3 a.m. They're at 11 p.m.
Yeah, so assuming the qualifiers run like 5 hours.
Then the Korean qualifiers run into Shoutcraft. Shoutcraft's on Saturday, right?
Yeah. No, wait,
Yeah.
hang on.
BTSL is
Oh,
Friday morning for me.
yeah, hang on.
For us.
Maybe ByuN just had the wrong day then. One sec. Where's the, I gotta bring this up now, look.
I think so.
Schedule thing. Yeah, because we're aiming for Friday. Yeah, if Shoutcraft's on Saturday, we shouldn't have a problem. Well, maybe it's the opposite, where they're worried about like IM Korean qualifiers into BTSL into Shoutcraft though. Same problems.
No, it'd be BTSL and then 12 plus 8. 20 hours later is Korean qualifier, and then
No, like there'd be the Korean qualifier at 11 p.m. on Friday night.
oh, there is another Korean. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I missed the one that was off to the very right. There's 4 Korean. Jesus.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, but the IEM has no what do you call it? Region locking. So everybody can play in every qualifier. So Europeans can play in the North American qualifier, Koreans can play in the North American qualifier, etc. Well, ByuN's online. You said the herO was here, right?
herO's here, yeah.
Okay, so ByuN versus herO maybe. I don't know. We'll leave it to Olivia, I guess, to figure out hashtag admin problems. Am I right? Anyways, yeah, for the BTSL finals, guys, I don't really know where we would move those right now, so we're gonna put like an asterisk in that for now. But it is something we'll have to look into after the cast. Because last thing we want to do is like super fatigue the players. Nene Whip threw in a bunch of bits and there's a bunch of resubs.
I didn't even realize I was friends with Liquid herO.
Well, let's get some sub shoutouts going, right? While we're waiting. Let's see. Scrolling down here, not 12 hours ago. There we go. Phantom X1 sub to the channel, brand new. Snoot resub to the channel for 27 months. Ace Lude. Oh, the good Snoot. Nene Whip, as we said, just threw a bunch of bits in, which I'll have to fix that jar in a bit. And then McMarsaman resubbed for 11 months. Thank you very much, guys. But yeah, it looks like Brute herO might be our only option if we can find him.
Well, apparently Olivia sees him somewhere. Somewhere.
I really want to try and fix that jar while we're waiting. I think that's fun to use. Alright, click to show the URL. This should be new. We'll swap the cups just to make sure that we know what's up. Oh, I know you stopped by last night on Nate's stream. Did you happen to stop by on mine at all?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Feels bad, man. Anyways, Nate and I were playing some H1Z1. Okay, this is still using bits from mine. I have no idea why it would be accessing my data at all, because it's not connected to BaseTradeTV in any way.
I'm not sure how the bits work, so I don't have any insight.
Like, I can't even empty the jar. Oh, there we go. Anyways, looks like we have ByuN versus herO. Yay!
Cool.
Boys, I did this thing where Terminator kept donating all the muxies, right? The little fox-looking cute things.
Yeah.
And I turned the jar into a jail cell. Said, these muxies are in jail. The only way to free them is to, like, keep donating more so they fill up the glass and then start, escaping.
Yeah. I heard you talking about it.
It kind of worked. I got about $6 out of it. Totally worth.
Good job.
Anyways, I don't know. We'll see if that jar works or not, guys. It seems pretty broken at the moment, though.
Well, I only stuck around at Nate's stream from the point at which I resubbed and he shouted me out to about when you were asking people for that highlight clip when he shot the guy in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was only there for like 15 minutes. And then I went to sleep because it was time to go to sleep. And even then, it was a little too late to go to sleep.
I wish I had gone to sleep earlier. I got a couple hours in, but I woke up to 3 different alarms because I slept through the first 2. So nailed it.
And I did one of those things where like it really sucks because I was sleeping, but I kind of like was sleeping that I was awake. So
yeah, you're just kind of lying there with your eyes closed. You're not like really asleep.
Yeah, so when I really woke up, it was just like that last hour didn't even count. So whatever, it's not so bad. And then in 3 hours, apparently people are gonna come to retile our kitchen floor, which hopefully isn't that loud. That could be.
Good times for you.
This is something that has been in the works for 2.5 months. My mom has been so stressed about it. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. It's downstairs. Okay.
Nice.
Thanks. It's a position joke.
Well, it's game number 1 in a best of 3. You guys are tuned in for the Olimoleague here on BaseTradeTV. Spawning in the upper right side, we got the blue Terran player, none other than ByuN.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he is herO.
I guess, by the way, it's actually technically been like 3 months since the last monthly finals. So I don't remember. This is just the best of 3, right?
This is a best of 3. And then the semis and the finals are a best of 5.
Okay.
As far as I understand. But, I mean, the finals might change because we're not with Twitch Korea.
Sounds like something logical, but since it wasn't discussed, I imagine wouldn't happen. Feels bad.
Well,
now.
it might change in the future, just like the time may change as well for anyone paying attention, I guess. But nothing confirmed yet, so.
Yeah, was it the idea to push it 1 hour further? Was that it?
Yeah, exactly. So 1 hour from now.
Yeah. So.
We'll see.
Bit of an awkward pylon coming down out of herO. I'm interested to talk about this in a moment. I was gonna say though, we've been seeing quite a bit of herO recently, and not just Olimoleagues, but BTSL, and frankly, herO's been playing very cheesy, and that can go from all the way to having like a proxy Stargate to just doing multiple inside your own base, being very aggressive, and just not playing that macro game versus Terran at the moment. And it's been working for him too, so more power to him.
Yeah, for the most part. He got to the round of 4 in the last Olimoleague, along with Classic, another person who was doing a lot of cheeses, but I guess isn't. He didn't show up before we started this game, so I don't know if he's gonna be walked over or what, but we'll see. So I saw the Protoss is figuring it's better to cheese people out. And herO's not cheesing right now. That pylon is in a very weird location, and he is going for 1 base Stargate.
Yeah, so I think part of this was maybe if there was like some early scout, you get to the base, you see 1 pylon, and maybe that sends ByuN into like a panic. But hold on, it's not 1 base at all, Zombie Grub.
Well, still was a 1 base Stargate, but then he expanded, yes, and it was at the gold.
So I think this is a little bit interesting. Most players, just generally speaking, avoiding taking golds against Terran on this map because how easy it is to set up a tank or something in the middle and just really use the watchtower vision to shell away at the mineral line. This is really bold, but the fact that he's doing it so early means he won't have those problems necessarily right away, but still might have them eventually. Also, the Adept comes across the map looking to kill a Marine. This shouldn't be too much of a problem. The Shade's already in there, so he may give away the Adept for this, but...
You got that other shot on the Marine is actually kind of a big deal. He's going to want to get rid of all the Marines possible. He's going to want to pay attention to where the Widowmine burrows, so this Oracle can do as much damage as it can, and this is some good damage. The Pylon's going to get up.
Means the Overcharge will be available. Maybe he'll free the Adept. I don't know, but for ByuN, it's such a minor... It's not much, but it's a lot at the same time, you know?
This is really a lot. Like, there's, you know, two aspects of damage being dealt. There's the first one, which is the most obvious. You're actually killing stuff, and there's the second one, which is just chaos. Like, and that can really, you know, affect a lot of different players.
Well, speaking of chaos, I just assumed it was a Mothership Core. Why else would you build a Pylon here? We never built a Mothership Core, so why build a Pylon? Was this just, like, in his blood? He's like, oh, I'm so used to cheese, and I have to put this down.
It might be. It also might just be a perfect distraction. Like, the Cyclone's over there instead of right here.
Yeah.
Not that the Cyclone's a lot of damage to the Oracle anymore, but it helps.
It does, and it helps push it back. The Adept's just kind of policing, though, and at this point, 7 SCVs have died. This has certainly been annoying. ByuN's going to go for a counter behind this, but as mentioned before, there is no Mothership Core, so there's no Overcharge to defend with. A couple of Void Rays and a Stalker might just hold, but then there's this base, this vulnerability, which ByuN does see as he flies over. Oh, but herO doesn't see the medevac.
Void Ray, please. Yeah, I mean, he has enough unit to deal with it, and there's obviously no stim. Just gonna proxy a gateway. I mean, it's just gonna keep up the aggression, and that helps in a way to keep his gold base alive and well, but the mineral line just gets wrecked right there. Almost 3 more probes went down.
That medevac's about to get wrecked.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like almost one more. So 6 probes is not bad. Revenge damage for the SCVs that went down, but ByuN doesn't know that there's an attack on the way. He could try and get as many defensive as he can, and he's doing that right now, like Vikings, Siege Tank, couple Cyclones. But I don't even know exactly, like, this is not some regular timing with 4 gateways and 2 Void Rays that you see all the time that ByuN would anticipate, much less like have the correct units to defend with. I don't even know. I think a Siege Tank is really, really helpful, but the 2 Void Rays are kind of scary, and of course it's all powered off the back of 2 base on gold base.
If there's medevacs out and stim finish, these Void Rays aren't a problem, but as we see, it's a bit of an issue. They can soak a lot of hits, they deal a lot of damage.
Not more. Ah, you useless mothership.
Useless mothership sounds like a nice placeholder for a swear word. But I will say, diving for the tank was costly for him. Let's not forget, without Widowmine being there, another unit's going to go down at some point, but lost one of the Void Rays for it, not easily replaced. Oh, that Widowmine shot, nice splits at the last second out of herO. Pushing up, cancels the bunker. Another big stop on this. Of course, the Vikings on the ground. He brings the Void Ray in.
Okay, yeah, that's actually a big deal. I was gonna say, Vikings are very helpful on the ground for the Stalkers now, but they did not actually kill that one Void Ray. This is still very scary for ByuN, getting his SCVs picked off. A tank comes out, and again, that's so helpful against Stalkers in particular, but are there too many?
I think this might be a little too far gone already, and I say this only because hero's been mining off that gold for so long. He's got 48 probes, and while this has been fairly all in up to this point, he's actually got the money to transition, and that's what we see going on back on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, ByuN has not started stim.
Yeah, or medevac production. He's been putting too much money into getting some expensive units like, you know, tanks as well as bunkers that he's losing, and he just hasn't been mining from his natural.
I mean,
and even if he was, there wasn't a lot of SCVs.
I would argue that everything ByuN's made so far has been necessary. But yeah, that's the cost. Not being able to build a second barracks, not being able to afford to stop double Marine production. Adepts managed to shade past the entire army. This will be a problem as he tries to respond to his mineral line. He's going to leave a possible vulnerability in his natural.
Yeah. This is some real cheesy strats, but not in the way they were used to. This is a...
They're good tactics. I like them.
It is. It's no timing I think that maybe Terran's going to be familiar with, because it is just so wacky. It's on a map, too, that gets a gold base, so you can't account for that on every single map, and, you know,
I think
if they consider that timing and that power behind it.
I actually think with the way hero's played this out, this could have worked with just a normal natural. I think he just got real nice advantage from that gold, though.
Yeah, I think it does too. But the point is, like, the timing is just a little bit crisper, right? And the actual units are a little bit more with the gold base. So there's a little more of a macro follow up as well. So point is, like, you could do it on like Whirlwind or something, right, as well, but the timing would still be off, and you still wouldn't be used to this build because I mean,
Oh, for sure.
one base
But
Stargate into 4 gate with 2 Void Rays. I mean, I guess it's happened in the past, but it's not very common in Legacy of the Void.
I do want to point out, though, ByuN's done a great job recovering off this, as terrible as the situation may have been. He's got 3 tanks out, so busting through the front is no longer an option. He's got Marines out. While Stim is heavily delayed, he does have medevac support with him, which is absolutely crucial. Finally, the tech lab finishes up. He'll get Stim. He's probably going to go for combat shields at the same time once he's got the gas for it, but while ByuN might be ready to take an army fight defensively, he doesn't have any pushing power to move even out of his own natural and take a third, and he's going to need to take a third, or at least lift the main over at some point, because with all the mules that were dropped, how delayed this was, like, ByuN, yeah, we see mineral patches disappearing before our very eyes.
ByuN has to do some type of big drop, which is always going to be dangerous. You don't know if they're building Phoenixes behind this, if the Voiders are in position, or medevacs go down instantly. But he's got to get the army out of the way so his tanks can reposition.
That's something for this too. Looks like the Oracle just got picked off, by the way, diving in for Revelation. But I was going to say, I would have loved to have seen a few more Void Rays. So now that we have those back in production, that's great to see. Because they are just going to melt through most of this army. The Marines with Stim are the one thing that the Void Rays might be worried about, but with so many Adepts and Stalkers on the ground, I don't think the Marines are going to be that big of a problem. You can't just simply Stim underneath the Void Rays.
Oh no. No, the Marine army would probably get melted. These have resonant glaives, and he's got the Forge, so he's going to have at least a couple up, well, probably 1 upgrade. By that time done, feels like he can push out. But if the tanks get sieged in a good position, then that kind of like goes back, right, to the Terran side. But the tanks, I mean, they might be in position. They still need something to protect them. The Adepts get on top of them. More Marines come down, and that's would have been very helpful to have on the front lines with Stim.
I don't think hero's expecting this many tanks, by the way. However, at the same time, ByuN wasn't expecting this massive of an attack at his main. GG gets called, and herO takes game number 1 by storm.
Yeah, he would have been so late to responding because Stim still wasn't done, and it wasn't a very good economy. What a game.
That's a really awesome game, though, because I said it before last time. I'll say it again. Like I really feel right now the direction of this matchup tells most Protoss players go Colossus, try and play macro, and it just hasn't been working. And not for reasons like Liberators or otherwise, but the Terran like ByuN are just so good at micromanaging multiple groups of units and tearing people apart. So I think doing that to him in the early game is not just, okay, a little bit cheesy, but a very like smart maneuver, because the end game doesn't look so great on the other side of it. It looks like, by the way, Classic did show up, so him and Innovation are playing right now. But I'm very happy to be watching herO after a game like that. I've got no qualms with us having swapped the series the way we did.
Yeah, either one was going to be a lot of cheesy fun. herO maybe a little bit more so.
We did put I did put a straw poll out last night, just trying to see what people would be most interested in. Innovation versus Classic was the #1 vote, but not by a whole lot. ByuN and herO very closely afterwards. Anyways, we'll get the next map up in just a moment once we know what's going on. Looks like they're starting to host that lobby up right now, actually. Turning off of Alicia. By the way, Alicia's name Trevi. It's really bothersome for me because my brother's name is Trevor, and like the cutesy nickname we always gave him growing up was Trevi. It is, but whatever. It's a name, and it's just like weird to see Alicia with it.
I always figured it stood for something else.
Today.
Not an acronym.
Fine, whatever.
Whatever.
So I'll mention really quick, by the way, guys, we've got quite the awesome schedule coming up on BaseTradeTV, and I know that the website is still down. We actually had someone send us a message with legit concerns that it was actually hacked. It's just kind of the placeholder for funsies message we put there, but I won't be here tomorrow for the Ting Korean qualifiers. Unfortunately, I tried to get a different day and a different time to go look at some some places that I can afford to move to, and I just couldn't. So tomorrow I've got to spend 2 hours traveling to go look at 3 different places, and then 2 hours traveling home. There's just no way I was going to have the stamina, energy, or make it on time if I cast. So just as an FYI, you're going to have Zombie up carrying things hard tomorrow.
Yep.
That being said, game number 2, and I'm here and now. Top left side of the map, he's down 1 game at the moment. See him dig deep into his Terran pocket of strategies. It's ByuN.
In the bottom right is the blue Protoss. He is herO.
Now, ByuN's done something that I'm hoping to see him do, and that's Command Center first. And ByuN's had this build that I think is fantastic and would work well against what herO's been throwing at people, generally speaking, where he does his CC first into like the 3 barracks follow-up, and that just gives him a lot of units to work with. Last game, that was kind of the mentality of what he wanted, but the production structures he had were reliant upon things like factories with tech labs and just trying to get a lot of tanks out and a lot of Vikings out. Like, these are really expensive things to do. If ByuN plays this the way I think he's going to play it, then it's going to be very easy for him to just have like 50 Marines to play with. And it looks to be the case.
He could go for the 3 barracks follow-up, but that's not the only thing he's done past the Command Center first. So it is still something we're going to be waiting to see. If it turns to a 2-1-1, basically, 2 barracks, factory, starport at the Command Center.
Yeah. By the way, we had a new sub come in, Random Noob. Spells it with some numbers in the name. Thank you so much. And then Extreme Purple, another guy who puts numbers in his name, just resubbed for 7 months in a row.
Nice. All right, so the probe, it gets a good scout. It was pretty early, so it didn't scout first, but it gets there at a still very early time to harass the workers. And herO, I mean, he could have done something cheesy. He has done things that are cheesy on Whirlwind, but he gets his Nexus at an okay time, and it might be more, but of course the 2 base all-ins. Cross position, still difficult to do it, as obviously Stargate into it and get there as fast as possible, but...
So a little interesting thing that's going on here is ByuN's not actually slapped down his 3rd barracks. He opted to go for a faster reactor. Oh, there we go. I'd say if you're just going straight into a reactor right away, then you'll have that 3 barracks worth of production still. Just a bit odd this time, I guess, taking gas to go with it. So
yeah.
Tech Lab comes down pretty quick. Meanwhile, herO scouting all of this has decided the best course of action is to play super greedy on the other side of the map. And I like this a lot, actually, because... Again, if herO was getting cheesy and throwing units at ByuN, the logic is that ByuN's build gives him more units to play with and to be better off for it. So herO, rather than throw units away needlessly and probably lose those fights even, he just plays super, super greedy.
Yeah. He probably would. I mean, there's not a lot of... Because again, even if he proxied the Stargates, he'd have to wait so long for Warp Gate to finish up to actually give him any decent amount of reinforcements, whereas of course on Happy Sensation it's a lot different. It's like very close to your opponent, natural to natural. So I really like this, and I think that's also an option on Whirlwind just in general, is to try and get away with super greed on 3rd bases as a Protoss player.
The other part of this too that I think is really cool is going off the way ByuN plays. First off, I really like that pylon fake, putting some pressure to ByuN, but going off the way this will work, This greed from herO will give him a lot of units to play with too. Like, this 3rd base is going to be the affordable extra 4 gateways, right? Like, it's not going to be coming into a fight where he's under armied. ByuN and herO are going to have a very interesting game on Whirlwind, that's to say the least.
In the past, something like this has, I think, given the Protoss a better position in the game by far. They do have that gateway explosion, and it just topples a frontal attack. Drops can still be effective, but even then you still have stalkers with blink to move around, even on a large map like Whirlwind. Nowadays, I'm not sure it gives you like such a big lead if you get away with it, but it is something that is, I think, a bit better than the Command Center first, in terms of like that explosion that just like, if you don't do anything about it, then like, you know, screw you.
Yeah.
But we'll see. herO, of course, I mean, his economy is great, his production's great. You still have to have time for, you know, tech.
I would have loved if this had been, actually, I'm just thinking, like, if there was, like, enough metagaming here. Like, ByuN had only thrown down 2 barracks after this and took, like, a fast 3rd CC, so then herO scouts that, takes a fast 4th Nexus, like, and it's just being some sort of, like, no rush, like, everybody takes every base situation.
That'd be kind of insane.
It's
I
one
don't
of
think
those
I've
things
ever
where
seen
like
that
once in a million, I'm sure it happens, but not likely.
Yeah. Well, ByuN is just about ready to push out, but even if he puts all of his units in the medevac, it's going to take a while to go across the map, and herO should have protection.
Well, this is interesting actually, because normally when we see him prepare to push, this is paired up with a couple of Marauders, at least one even, but none. Just straight medevacs and straight Marines. But as I said before, this gives him a massive army supply to work with, and ladies and gentlemen, it's 42 to 19 at the moment.
Yeah. herO does have 5 gateways, but it's not quite the same explosion you'd expect. I think in like Heart of the Swarm, we would see even up to maybe even 9 gateways just on the cusp of the Terran's attack, and it was a lot of units, you know? So that's not quite the same. herO still has defensive, you know, properties to him, right? He has Blink, he could go back to a Photon Overcharge in an emergency, but this is dangerous. It's gonna have to be about the Photon Overcharge, or a couple of Force Fields actually. The Guardian Shield, not bad. And herO is starting to really climb up to match ByuN's army supply, especially since ByuN has this really long reinforcement path.
I think one of the key things here, there's +1's going to be finished for both, but I think +1 favors ByuN pretty heavily in this sort of unit composition. Guardian Shield's going to be massive, as long as he can keep that alive. Against this many Marines especially, like you guys got to consider, the more Marines there are, the more damage that gets reduced by Guardian Shield, but my concern is that herO might not have that much of a Guardian Shield, so to speak. Stalkers may be blinking in, out, and around it, and to dive in and try and pick up a medevac. ByuN, of course, has Stim, hesitating to use it.
I like that though.
Yeah,
He's waiting.
He knew that was just like a poke out of herO, and that herO would blink away if he stimmed. So there's the actual stim, because he's getting ready to push up that ramp. He's got to be careful for force fields.
Yeah, I don't. He's not getting any free wins this game, that's for sure. With the other games we've seen by him on Whirlwind,
Yeah,
herO was on the very brink of not having enough, and now he has enough. Not more than enough, but certainly enough to be threatening ByuN. Like if ByuN makes a mistake, loses his medevacs, then loses his Marines, herO could instantly counterattack. Even without a proxy pylon, he's got these very mobile units.
that fire
ByuN
is really loud. What the?
Oh, I don't even hear it. But ByuN is running away right now, so herO didn't even take that fantastic of a fight, but still is feeling quite aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, ByuN finds a very great defensive location to fall back to. He's got Widow Mines and Liberators set up. It's not going to be easy for herO to take a fight underneath these.
Oh, why would he do this? He's got a Warp Prison. He really wants to take the fight, but I don't... Oh, that Widow Mine popped up on the Stalkers instead of the Adepts, but those
second ones.
Yes.
Yeah, and with the Adepts being gone, the Biotears through this, herO oversteps his bounds pretty hardcore and has to fall back.
That's devastating. I mean, I guess he didn't realize there's so many Widow Mines.
No, that's devastating.
herO, you know, he didn't take that attack. He just contains and pressures, takes a 4th base, advances his tech, and he's still in this game. But now he has to replace an army instead of doing all that, and that just is going to be too difficult.
Yeah, ByuN's Widow Mines, I'm just checking them out. Like none of them got the like one amazing hit. They killed like 14 units, but it got them all so low that the Marines melted them almost instantly. While this goes on, the Adepts transfer over to the base, so it's kind of annoying. But ByuN not pulling back just yet.
The Widow Mines are by far the scariest part of this composition, and if herO could dodge or snipe them, then he could have holds. But this is looking quite dangerous. Oh, they definitely removed out the Liberators.
No, they killed a couple of SCVs, but certainly wasn't worth losing all the Adepts for. He's got to scan for that Observer. I think he knows where it is, maybe? No, it's buried in a funny spot.
herO does have some pretty cool coverage of the map. He's got an Adept scouting still that he survived. Observers, pylons off to the right side. I'd say the only thing he's missing is kind of like off to the left of his 3rd base, or his 4th base could be.
That Widow Mine hit was fantastic. The mini EMP, if you will. Stalkers fall back.
Here's as I said, like, he can't... He would have been so much better off had he not taken that fight. This 4th base would have been so much earlier. He's still trying to buy time and get back to like a better economy even, but I'm not even sure you can save the 4th base.
You know, I didn't realize, but ByuN hasn't been replacing or producing medevacs for quite some time, so he's only got these 2 left. The little whittle ins out of herO diving in to pick them off have certainly been paying off. That being said, though, this fight's still going to be pretty tight, and ByuN's got the better fight. There's those Widow Mines again.
Yeah, and while the Stalkers take the shots, so the Adepts can deal with the
God.
army, the Stalkers can take out all the Liberators. So you really needed the Stalkers.
Yeah. I mean, nicely positioned with the Liberators for certain. Takes out that last one. Widow Mine's not quite armed again yet, so he's going to fall back. Detection? Okay, there we go. Detection comes on over.
Man, if those Widow Mines hadn't gotten the Stalkers, he probably would have had maybe even a game evening fights. That's a weird way of saying it. But the point is, like, even if in an okay position, now it's still always going to be scary. 30 army supply down. His upgrades, at the very least, have actually gone way far ahead of ByuN, who, you know, hasn't only not been building medevacs, he took a while to start his armory, which, of course, delayed his 2-2.
ByuN's been pretty insistent on scanning, but unfortunately he's been missing some of the most important units, like this Observer that's seen his army on the left side multiple times. So herO's in position, ready to go. He's got double overcharges available. This drop is not going to kill much. In fact, the Stalker's reaching forward. Widow Mine, I guess, does get a nice pop-off over there. Right side's moving in. This doesn't have medevac support, though, so it's a little bit scary.
No. That's true, yeah. Without medevacs, in fact, ByuN can never seriously threaten that position, even though it looks tempting with Widow Mines on all those Adepts and Sentries.
I mean, he's got plenty of
herO
Marauders, but yeah, they need those medevacs.
herO's really brought this game back from that really, I thought was a fatal miscalculation of an attack. And now ByuN is going to desperately need a fourth base.
It was fatal for the many units that died.
Oh, yeah, that's certainly true. But herO, like, he got his fourth, he sent his probes over there, and he reduced the gap in army supply, and still has really good upgrades.
We missed it, but ByuN managed to walk a Widow Mine into the third and get a 7 probe hit, by the way.
That's nice. Still herO at 60 probes, however. Still okay.
Yeah, and he's got 2-2 for weapons advantage, which is nice. That'll certainly give him a very nice edge, Guardian Shield combined with that. But at the moment, ByuN's army is much larger. However, not quite in position and not quite ready to go. But so many Marauders.
It's not as powerful without the Widow Mines getting shots off with the Liberators here, though. Okay, there's a couple Liberators, but it's still mostly a bio army, and herO tries to take advantage of that with force fields.
Yeah, a very smart move on his part. But as the Adepts possibly transfer through...
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. Main base, by the way, is the one moving over here to become the fourth. So ByuN's still going to be keeping up in par in terms of economy, but big gap right now while he floats over. This fight, though, could be do or die for both. +2 weapons just finished. Same with armor, so he's fighting at even footing. But the Widow Mine's looking for the hits on the Adepts. One waste on the Stalkers. Marauders kiting to the right side. But this is looking pretty bad for ByuN.
It is. The Adepts were not hit by all 4 Widow Mines like ByuN would have hoped so, and his Liberators can only help out so much. There's still enough Stalkers to snipe them down.
I don't know. The Stalker count's actually fallen quite immensely, but oh, the medevac getting sniped. herO playing this so freaking well.
Yeah, like, herO's not just a cheeser.
I really like from the get-go the idea of that third Nexus, and it's been paying off in spades ever since. But the Widow Mine's going to hit all the Stalkers.
But that was only a portion of his Stalkers. I think that's actually kind of a wiser way to engage. You're still just enough to take all the Liberators. Just
barely enough. Can't wait for that Liberator nerf. He said nervously, but GG's get called, and ByuN will be the first player knocked out of the tournament. What?
Damn. herO looks quite good.
This is such a weird 180 for me, though, because CJ herO, because that's who this one used to be. It's not the X-Team Liquid herO guys. Prior to joining Root, even, I would say either he was taking things super nonchalantly and not seriously, and the games we were seeing out of him were really unimpressive, or it's because the unimpressive games forced him to dig deep and find new strategies. Either way, he's looking so good against Terran right now.
Very fun games as well. I like it.
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is I hope Innovation beats Classic then. I would love to see herO versus Innovation and see if that holds up the same way or not.
All right, yeah. It looks like our first semifinal is probably going to be Alive versus Billowy, though, because they're already done.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to our first commercial break of the day, folks. So stick around. Thank you for watching the Olimoleague, and we'll see you in a little bit.